Hey, welcome back to GamePlayDismay. This is Anime Tuesday Reviews. That's what it's going to be called for right now. And today we are doing the one and only Ghost in the Shell by Mamoru Oshii. And it's 95, right? I think.
95, yeah.
95. And yeah, one of the all time classics. Everybody's been talked to this movie to death already. And oh yeah, I got my two counterparts here, Arcus and Cannon. If you all want to say hi.
Hola.
What's up?
And so yeah, Ghost in the Shell. Just I guess diving right into it. What do y'all think about this all-time classic anime film? Inspirational.
Inspirational. Real talk. Well, start out by saying it is like one of the daddies of like modern anime in the modern era.
Datame?
Is anime, yeah. I mean, before this, it was Akira. That was like the next. That was the other cinematic thing that made a splash. I mean,
That's Grand Datame.
yeah. And this is just before the all the Ghibli stuff started coming over. You know what I mean? Because that started to get popular in the late '90s and 2000s, if I recall.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
older, but it wasn't really in America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's kind of, and that's the thing. It was actually designed or intended
Actually,
to be.
Nausicaa is the '80s. Yeah, that
Yeah,
does
it's like 87.
that is weird to think about.
But was it big in America?
Yeah.
Not really.
Wait, we killing this thing?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's what were you saying, Cannon?
It's one of those things that would like it was actually designed that way as a co-production with who's it's Manga Entertainment. If you recall them, they were big in the '90s. They were trying to popularize it,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. Classic
And
manga video.
Bandai?
based on the success
Yeah, I guess I didn't
um,
realize Bandai has been in it.
of stuff like Dragon Ball. I mean, I don't know. We can't get like too big into a history of anime in the states, but
Yeah.
pretty much there was like it was all like the weird like side hobby thing, you know. It was all videos.
It was
Nothing
very
like
niche,
theatrical
yeah.
release. I mean, you might get something in New York or LA, but Ghost in the Shell was designed to be a breakout item. It wanted to kind of bring it more to the mainstream, so it had a wide theatrical release across the United States.
And it
Uh,
flopped. I was looking up the
more?
residuals. It flopped.
Yeah,
It did.
yeah,
Oh wow.
it
Yeah,
flopped.
it was
Arc
only
is
later
coming
it
in with the
became
residuals.
a cult classic on home release.
Oh, home release. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 'cause that's where anime's home was in the United
Yeah,
States.
yeah.
I mean, where there had been. Oh, I just got killed. There had been a long tradition of like constant like theatrical releases in Japan, and like really didn't really cross over to the U.S. until something like this. I remember actually going to the theater to watch it. If I recall correctly, took the bus to DC, went to the Biograph Theater, RIP. No, the Key Theater doesn't exist anymore. Sad to say.
Like you saw it new back in the 90s?
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
took the bus into the city, went to
I didn't know that.
the Key Theater in Georgetown. Like I said, RIP. It was actually really close to the Biograph. And went and saw it on the big screen and had my mind properly blown.
Yeah.
'Cause there's nothing like it before, right?
No, I mean at least especially not theatrically in this. I mean it's
Not
seen Akira,
quite. Yeah.
grown up on Macross or Robotech as it were, and it's seen like other stuff subtitled and like trade around home video, you know. But like I said, it was always an interesting to see it like in such vibrant, breathing life on the big screen. It was like, oh man, anime is like grown up now.
Yeah,
And
it seems
actually,
pretty cliche now, but looking at it from like the point of view of 1995 or 6, it's pretty original.
yeah, it really was. It was
Yeah. And it's short and sweet and very
Yeah, I
to
can't
the
believe how
point.
short it is.
Yeah, it's very
yeah,
to the point, and I always forget like, and I think it is why that it stands up because it's so easily rewatchable because it's so short, and it's like, and it's all good. It's all like, even though the long shots of the music and everything and all that stuff, where it is like his style, like from before, seeing his other past movies. Like, but they are a lot shorter and they make sense a lot more, I think, with the story and like the character, uh, Makoto, and just everything that she's going through since from the very beginning, since the opening credits, where she's like having the dream, I guess, of being born, of like her current body, her current shell, and whatnot that they built for her. That, if correct me if I'm wrong, is that he said he planted those bodies for him to invade later.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
it was
recall
like it was a trap. I mean, like a lot of it depends. I think lost in
and
translation
and
because
that and that's why
initially
he
it
said
was
that he was looking for her, because she was one of the shells that he already had in mind, but he was specifically hers or whatever.
Well, they were made by Megatech or whatever. He's like, we're the same. We got these sweet bodies.
Yeah,
yeah. She's been in service longer than that. I mean, Bateau says as much. They go back a long ways.
yeah, and then
And
the
the Puppet Master's only been around for 2 years or
yeah, and in the preview and other adaptations and all the manga, I think, and other anime and everything like that, it is like but her character, but before, like, she gets far too deep into her shell or whatever, like RoboCop, like she's talking about, like she's already far too gone, like Darth Vader or something, like in the robot shell, or she's like, maybe I'm already something else.
perhaps. But I mean, it gets into the sequels and things. I mean, that's the whole other bag of.
But I like the other anime just for it because it explores her old character in that in some respects. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, they all happened because it was such a success, even if not initially in the home video market. Like I said, which was where the American anime market lived at the time, was in the home video. And this is back in the days when you got people passing VHS tapes around and like making homemade subtitles, and it
Yeah,
still
Yeah,
happens
fan
somewhat
subs.
now.
this would
That's
be
all you could
the new
Yeah,
Akira for sure. Yeah, like, oh damn.
and but it's not. I think it wouldn't be overstating to say it's kind of like, in terms of success failure, it's kind of like the Velvet Underground's album. I don't know if you've heard that joke or that
Maybe,
reference.
yeah.
There I go.
What's the Velvet Underground joke?
Joke or quip or whatever. Like,
Oh no, I might be dead. He's stabbing me to death. I'm dead.
um, the Velvet Underground
Uh
is pretty
oh.
much
There we go.
only 10,000 people bought the Velvet Underground's first album, but every single person who bought that album started a band.
Wait, I have heard that joke.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's like it's hard to understand. Like, it's hard to like accurately base it just based on sales numbers, but for the fact that people who did see it felt like so compelled to go on and create their own things with it. If we want to run down the
Yeah.
list, we can talk about that, like history.
Yeah,
And,
do it. Matrix,
so,
whatever, everything. Blade
so
Runner.
what we get is
This movie is
this
inspired by Blade Runner, like a mofo.
Yeah. All right, you tell it then.
Oh no, go ahead. I said this movie. Well, I
So
said this was inspired by Blade Runner, like a mofo.
yeah, like I said, if we remember when we were talking about whatchamacallit, when we were talking about Beautiful Dreamer, or was it Angel's Eggs, like the influence of the interaction between Western and Eastern popular culture. It's like we went down the list. Is that Dashiell Hammett influences Kurosawa, who influences Sergio Leone, who influences everyone that comes after, right? It's like a chain. They get you from
Yeah, just like music.
hardball detective to samurais to cowboys, like all running down the list, And this is like a similar thing where you start with Blade Runner, because Blade Runner's kind of like a similar thing where it was not initially successful, but in the secondary market,
Yeah,
got
home
to be
release.
liked and caused and had a major influence on style and like video direction. And this, you can clearly see the Blade Runner influence of this.
Even
It's
some
hard
of the
to-
shots.
It's hard to understand how actually Blade Runner was just influential on its own. There's actually another anime. If you guys ever seen Bubblegum Crisis.
No.
There's
Yeah, I've seen parts of it.
Yeah, but one of the characters is named Pris because
Why?
Because
if you haven't from because one of the replicants in Blade Runner is Pris, played by Daryl Hannah.
Oh, because bubblegum.
No, Bubblegum.
Bubblegum because of Blade Runner.
Yes.
Gotcha.
We should get around to that sometime. That's a forgotten gem from the 90s, 80s. Whoa.
There is some Blade Runner anime we can watch.
Yeah. Aside from that, so Blade Runner gets you to Ghost in the Shell, and then Ghost in the Shell gets you to the Matrix, and the Matrix gets you to 3D bullet time, and
Yeah. Animatrix.
the Animatrix loops back around on itself.
Yeah.
3D bullet time, CGI, philosophical questions in action movies. And
Yeah.
they sort of deal with like similar themes to an extent. And if you've seen the YouTube video, you can see where they did the thing where they compare like a lot of the shots from the Matrix were inspired by the shots in Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, yeah.
they even had the green computer code.
Yeah. And
Obviously.
and then when they like get sucked in, like it goes whoop.
Yeah, jacks into the back of the necks.
Yeah.
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 Which is actually
Well, I mean like the
even
visual
Ghost in the
effect
Shell.
when it gets sucked in.
I
And
think
also-
they've said as much that they were influenced by it.
Yeah, yeah. They've said so.
Which means it's like hard, it's hard to understand its influence on the American audience because if there's no Ghost in the Shell, there's no Matrix, and then yeah. Oh shit! That just jumped in the water. Okay.
People love Matrix.
Oh. Yeah, I love Matrix.
I couldn't find any proof of this, but to me it looked like it influenced Cowboy Bebop, which came out a couple years later. But I
Yeah,
couldn't find anything.
I see
Anyone
that.
Said it was directly influenced because mostly it's when they're like the city is so like lived in, and it looks so like real and alive and vibrant.
I feel like
And it
the
even had the scene where she's like going home and she's on the boat and she's like looking at someone, and then it's like raining,
yeah,
and it was like the same. It was like 5 minutes or a few minutes and like no dialogue, just like scenes. I
yeah.
didn't like that in Patlabor.
She's
It
Spike.
was like static. It was like empty buildings, and I was like, "This is boring." But here, it was like people going home, passage of time. Now it's raining, and it was like I was a lot more into it.
Yeah.
And it
And,
felt, it just felt live. Lived in. I was like, "Oh, it's Cowboy Bebop."
You know what thing? Come to
Yeah.
think of it, the end credits.
The
at
shots.
top. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the movie.
Yeah. It ends up raining, and the city life goes on.
I mean, this movie could have been take place on Mars in Bebop universe. It wouldn't have changed anything.
Yeah, not a whole lot.
Yeah,
Although canonically, it's if I understand correctly, it's supposed to be in Hong Kong.
It looked like Hong Kong.
yeah. Hong
At the
Kong.
end.
And yeah,
Especially
they decided on not location, but he says the city itself is like a real life version of the internet, where because everything's just so congested together, of like people and things and ideas and the way it spreads and all like that information. And that's just something that the like behind the scenes note that the creators are talking
Yeah.
The far, far
Yeah.
future of 8 years from now.
about. Yeah.
Well, much like Blade Runner is the far, far future of 2019.
Yep.
This
Well,
is
the
far, far
equivalent in
future.
years would be, for us, it would be like the year 2054, because it's like 30 years in the future.
Yeah.
So that does seem far away, with some robot bodies.
Robot body.
We never quite catch up to the idea we have about.
Makes
30
me
years
wanna
from now.
makes me wanna play
Yeah.
Cyberpunk a lot. That's for sure.
Makes me want to watch Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, side note to take it back to Metal Gear, of course, always. I made the white costume when she was in the white, all the white, with the white pads and armor and stuff. So I made that costume in Metal Gear Online, and I played in the city part, and I played in the survival mode where you have the stealth gear, the stealth camo. So that was fun. I hope someone recognized that that's what I was doing when I was playing that part the game online. Shout out to Ghost in the Shell and Metal Gear. Yeah. And that
Oh yeah, I'll look
just
that up.
inspiring me to make the character in the video game. That's how inspirational Ghost in the Shell is. It's like, oh damn,
Because its inspiration never ends.
yeah, I'll make that Makoto in Metal Gear. Because yeah, because you got the stealth camo and it's awesome.
This is the inspiration that never ends. Goes on and on, my friends.
Good art
But yeah,
always inspires new good art.
but yeah, so and so yeah, it's beautiful. It's influential, and then like I don't know if we want to get into the nuts and bolts and the stories and the characters yet. If you guys have
Yeah, if
heard
you
of
want
that.
to, I guess that was like our overview and thoughts. If you want to, yeah, go to the main story arc and the characters. Yeah,
Well, as always, Oshii in the Oshii films we reviewed so far, he does have a philosophical bent.
yeah. It's
There's
always
always a
about
philosophical.
it's always about evolving or expanding or escaping some way of like yourself or your consciousness and something like that.
Before it was like magic and fantasy themed, but now the technology is getting there. It's
Yeah.
like, what if you just had technology to do it?
Now you can just suck yourself into a robot. Because who wouldn't want to jack in?
Yeah, and it's like Major has like she has like a ship of Theseus problem with like her own body. It's like, well, so much of me has been replaced. Am I even me anymore?
Well, plus she's not even sure she is who they say she is, because wasn't her
Yeah.
partner they just told us we were human in robot bodies. Have you ever seen your brain?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, but then I like Bateau's like response.
Just
Is
a
like,
killbot.
he's a little more functional. It's like, hey, you've got this great body and you're treated like a human, so quit. So don't whine too much about it.
Yeah.
He's like, you just don't.
Be grateful you're not treated as a robot.
Yeah. Or yeah. So it's neat. He's like a little counterpoint to her. He's much more practical to her philosophical. Um, her philosophical wanderings.
Yeah.
I need to learn how to block or dodge.
But yeah, I like the Project 2501. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The main
Master.
Puppet Master. Yeah, yeah. His just, I guess, if we want to believe that character, people. I like the people said. I guess what the patsy was is he was a hacker from Florida or whatever, or United States or something, and they trapped him in a killing himself and putting himself into a body, and then that was their explanation of what was going on.
Yeah.
And then that's where he ended up now, and that's why they captured. That's how they captured him. But that's all
Yeah,
fake.
but that wasn't
He's
true.
yeah, that's their patsy. And then he really came into existence of just the flow of Ethernet information evolving or something weird.
Well, see,
I forget how he phrased it.
He was a weapon, like
You
Summer
gotta
was.
go back. You gotta go back to 90s.
Oh, really?
Of one of which was fuzzy logic, and the other one, which was emergent behavior, is when we started finally like modeling these complex network behaviors. We determined that when something gets to be a certain amount level of complexity, just things start to happen on their own, just because it is so complex.
Yeah, and it
So
and it,
from my
resem-
understanding- my
it resembles our
understanding
brain or whatever.
Yeah. So my understanding was that the way the Puppet Master was, he says he was born in the scene of information, so he started as a program?
Yeah, he said a bug. So
Yeah.
like a like how Mr. Smith or whatever, like a glitch in the Matrix, I guess. And
Right.
then
He was-
He was built for
that's
that
what
shit.
yeah.
He
I
was
thought
built for counter-espionage or whatever,
Yeah.
cyber warfare, but then in the process of gathering information, kind of like Skynet a little bit actually, if you think about it,
yeah.
he gained some sort of self-awareness just by accruing more and more information, more and more experiences.
Oh, I thought he just became a thing.
Yeah, he did. But
Like
he
Tron
became
or
a thing.
something.
He became
like that.
aware of himself.
Right.
Yeah.
But he wasn't designed to be. He just
Oh, okay. He just started out as one of those things, but not on and he became something else on accident or whatever.
Yeah.
It wasn't them
And like I
tampering
said-
with AI or something weird like that.
No,
He just
and he
became
actually
an
specifically calls it out.
yeah,
I'm not an AI
yeah,
because he wasn't designed to be from the start. He was, if anything, he was designed to be a tool, but that tool gained awareness of its own existence and function,
yeah,
which is a neat philosophical concept, and I think I like that a little bit better than just being, oh, rogue AI, because that's been done to death. You got Skynet.
yeah. And I
And,
think a lot of people think that's what this movie is. I think I thought that's what this movie was for a long time.
yeah, it takes a little while to
Because
get into
a lot of this is just like a bunch of info dumps that people like saying things at you, but it all is very boring and interesting and cool at the same time.
Yeah,
like
and there's a lot going on,
and
and
it's
here,
all
like,
it's very heavy.
yeah,
Everything they're talking about, and it's like
it's one of those things where you really do have to pay attention to what's going on
yeah, and the
and what they're
shots and the
saying.
music just make it like even more intense.
Yeah, I mean, on a certain level, it is really easy to just tune your brain out and look at the pretty lights. Um, but you really ought to be paying attention to the dialogue. And there are noticeable differences between the subtitled and dubbed versions, I think. And then there's another dubbed subtitled version. It's like kind of a mess.
Yeah,
And
I like the dub version, right? Except for Makoto's voice is not the greatest. She kind of sounds like a robot, which might be intentional.
yeah,
Maybe it's on purpose.
Yeah,
yeah,
Very flat.
yeah,
yeah.
and maybe they told her to do it like that. I don't know.
And
There's
Japanese
that
being
thing
the
where
way,
there's like I swear there's a gap between every word.
Yeah,
and the thing with
could just be bad dub for that time. That was the norm.
Maybe
yeah,
90s dub.
Yeah.
as I said before, yeah, I don't miss 90s and 80s and 90s dubbing. I love their animation style. I mean,
Well, now it's
love
gotta be easier to find them on subtitles.
Yeah,
yeah.
I just watched the dub to just sit back and enjoy it.
Yeah, me too.
Ooh.
Did you watch 2.0?
The what?
I've been meaning to, but I've heard like mixed.
Nah, it was also on Prime. I found it and I played it, and like the beginning immediately looks like a PlayStation 2 cutscene. Instead of animated, it's like CGI.
I mean,
Which
well-
one? Which one are you talking about?
Why?
Yeah, it's a case of technology just marching forward.
Oh, good.
Which one is it?
No, it looks worse though. It's called Ghost in the Shell 2.0. He like remade it 10 years later. He special editioned it.
Yeah,
So is it a whole new movie or is it?
the same
No,
movie.
just like slight changes, animation's cleaned up, but like the opening scene is different because it's CGI instead of
Okay.
hand drawn.
So it's kind of like it's like special edition or whatever. I didn't see that. Was that on there too? I didn't
I had to
check.
search for it.
I didn't check though.
Yeah. So yeah.
The version was kind of like I don't know. Maybe just the streaming quality wasn't that great. I don't know why it didn't seem. I was like a lot of it was like kind of fuzzy, like not or pixelated. I guess. I don't know what was up with that. It looked like like watching the DVD version or something.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
just too old.
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
I mean, well, it was presumably filmed on film, I think, if I recall correctly. So you would think that
Oh, that's good.
just get a new scan of it. It shouldn't be that difficult. I mean, to get a new scan of the negatives and proceed from there. But somehow it seems to be more than people can manage. I guess I don't know who's.
What's the audience for this 30-year-old movie? Who's gonna buy this video?
Everybody loves it. They're like, didn't you know that it inspired The Matrix? Didn't you know that?
Yeah. So yeah,
You have to love this movie.
Only a
You
couple
don't have
years
to-
before the Matrix too.
yeah. I mean,
Didn't you know that the Wachowskis made Speed Racer? You have to love
Now that's
Speed
movie.
Racer. Yeah,
we use that.
So
That's
love Speed
underrated.
Racer.
I love Speed Racer, yeah. Shout out to Speed
Speed
Racer
Racer,
real
go.
quick. Now that's a damn anime if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like where anime was previously. It's like you had your Akira, which was the outlier, but mostly people were if they were exposed to it at all, it was stuff like Speed Racer, which was just a children's cartoon more or less, and that's how it was seen because that's how Americans see cartoons usually, or animation. you would say.
Yeah, they're like cartoon equals children.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is silly, because even back in America, like, there's adult cartoons, so the Fritz the Cat, how old is that?
That
Yeah,
dates in the 70s, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't start with, like, The Simpsons, like people seem to think.
Kind of a
Right.
different level, but yeah. Ooh, finally.
But yeah, it would have been that or stuff like what else? What Macross got turned into like Saturday morning viewing, even though it really had a slightly more adult audience.
Yeah.
It's kinda like G-Force, isn't it?
Transformers. G.I. Joe.
Yeah. Well, no, G.I. Joe is a distinctly American thing. That's even though the animation may have been done in Korea. Ironically,
Yeah.
some of the animation for things like Transformers and G.I. Joe may have been done in some of the same studios and stuff like G-Force or GoBots or
There you go. See,
Giant
there's
Robo.
a connection.
Even though the styles are very distinctive and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The styles and I mean, because let's face it, G.I. Joe was to sell cartoons or to sell toys.
So is Transformers.
Toys.
So is Transformers.
Everything's made to sell toys.
So is every Power Rangers show made in Japan ever. Uh-oh, I'm trapped. But yeah, getting back to the plot here, what are y'all give me some of your thoughts about the overall plot and I guess themes of it, or what you thought about it. Like also like what was going on.
It is easier to follow on a rewatch.
Yeah. After seeing it so many times, I grasped this movie much better as time goes on.
It's kind of a basic plot when you think about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
that's
weird.
And that's
Investigating what they think is a hacker.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what makes it actually work or it's accessible at all is the fact that it pretty much runs down as, oh, this guy's running around hacking things. Let's take a look at him. Oh, there's some political intrigue, but not nearly as much as Pat Labor. Oh, we're looking for this guy.
Yeah.
Here's this item, the ghost doll. Oh, someone stole it. Let's get it back. And then, holy shit! Then it turns into Star Trek, the motion picture.
I was gonna sneak attack that guy. I'm running in.
What were you
I
saying,
got the
Cannon?
skill
Then
where
it
I
was
can- I
what?
can backstab.
What did you say? Star Trek?
Yeah.
How is this?
Speaking of,
Wait, what? How is it Star Trek?
yeah. Well, if you've seen, I don't know, it's been a while since I don't know, when's the last time anyone saw Star Trek the motion picture?
A long
Anyone?
time.
Soon enough.
Yeah.
Not long
Anyway,
enough.
Mhm.
That's great. It's one of my favorites.
The first Star Trek?
Yeah, the motion picture.
Yeah, it's been a
Um,
long time. I don't remember what happens.
Link it up for me. How does it relate back to Ghost in the Shell?
Yeah.
Well, if you recall, V'ger is a man-made construct sent to gather information. It
Oh,
then
the
comes
satellite?
back, and then it then comes back and attempts to make contact with the creator. In
Yeah.
the process,
I think I do remember that.
it has to it actually merges with the human to evolve into new life.
Cool. Which human?
Now, if you look at Ghost in the Shell, the Puppet Master program was a cyber weapons, cyber intelligence tool developed by possibly the United States, whoever,
Yeah.
by a country,
Probably US,
that
yeah.
then sent out to gather information and conduct operations or whatever, counterintelligence operations, gained awareness,
Gained too much
and then
information.
then came back to pretty much its creators or to humanity and had to merge with Major to make a new form of life.
Yeah. So it is a form of like, and I like how it is a form of like evolution. It's not just, hey, I'm this thing, I'm in this shell, I'm trying to escape like from this whatever, security system section 9 or something. I'm seeking to like, or it's like trying to butterfly itself or whatever to like become even like more powerful, suck in more souls to like especially Makoto, literally her ghost, her soul or whatever, Makoto, and he sought her out or whatever, which I think is what he said he was doing when he's like, yeah, he's like, I'm made myself part of these shells. That's why I'm easier to contact with you or something weird like that. I think he said something like that. I could be wrong, but I love that aspect. That it's not just a thing. Oh, I'm here. I'm out. I'm trying to escape. It's like, oh, I have to like become some like other thing to like because it can or because it knows in some weird
Yeah,
in
it's
this
not even
weird
malicious.
future where
Like
it
it's like
can.
I just want to look around.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's following like the basic imperatives of life. Kind of what it was designed for, you know.
Yeah. Well, it could have easily just escaped in a shell, but it chose to like evolve through one or something like that.
Right. And it has like, well, the thing is, it actually kind of parallels Major's, like he's questioning his own purpose or his own existence, if you will, on Earth. So, or why is he here? What is he? And he's like, um, he wants to be a real boy.
Yeah. Be
More
a
like,
real boy.
more like Major's kind of concerned. Am I a real girl? Am I a real person? And she's like, and
He is like, am I a real AI? Am I a real sentient
He wants to
computer?
reproduce.
Am I a real
yeah,
sentient computer 10101 110 1010?
yeah, and that's the neat thing of it.
They're both
Kind of
having
like
their midlife
existential
crisis.
crisis.
Yeah.
And the similar thing with the motion picture is like Spock is saying that he went out to find all the knowledge that he could, and then he's asking himself the question: is that all there is? And then the puppet master's asking the question: is that all I am? Am I alive? Can I prove it to myself, or
Can I become a baby
because
robot, a new baby
like
robot?
challenges when he's being interrogated by the guys from Section 6 or whatever, he's like, I'm alive, and he's like, nonsense, and he's like, well, prove it. And then he says, how do you prove you're alive? I mean,
Yeah. That's when I would just turn the off button. You just hit the
Got a
off
switch
button.
right here in the back.
Yeah, Max, shut up. Microwave, god damn it thing. Talk back to me all
well,
the
that's
time.
that's what they want to do. That's why the body gets kidnapped.
Yeah, that's why he's smart enough to not escape from that situation.
But the other thing I like the best is that the characters are all, in their various ways, are all competent. Like Major and what's his name, the rookie, both independently come to the conclusion that someone was with the high-ranking execs in the building, and that's why they got kidnapped. So they immediately put a plan to whatchamacallit, track them down and see where they're going, see where it leads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're already out and about when they steal the puppet master body.
Yeah, and the Bateau is like sort of he's like he's a very practical type. The chief is like the chief, you know. It's like I don't know if you guys saw the 2017 dumpster fire, but
No.
apparently, from what I gather, me neither. But from what I gather, it was a mess. And the thing about this is Major wants to I guess prove that she's alive and like sort of takes things on her own terms, whereas in the 2017 it's like for some reason Scarlett Johansson's hung up on her past or something, and it's like that. It's like a huge difference.
It has nothing to do with the movie. Yeah.
In anything, I mean,
I
she
didn't
mentions
even
her
watch
past.
it. You watched it? Come on, let's not talk about that. We're talking about the anime here.
No,
Both me and
but
Mark
the point
haven't even
is, the
seen
anime
it.
is, it's I guess the thing is, it's full of like that 90s optimism. It's like even though this thing is artificial and it wasn't whatchamacallit, it wasn't malevolent. So like, as opposed to say
I don't know,
Skynet,
it's
Skynet
easy to compare it to
or
the live
Frankenstein's
action Ghost in the
monster
Shell. It's
or
not even worth comparing it to.
yeah, or AM.
All right. Well, one thing I will say about the movie, one of the things the director took on the project was he said there wasn't enough movies in Hollywood that clearly portrayed the influence and power of computers through to society and like and through the world or whatever, and he thought that it would be more effectively conveyed through animation style, which at the time I think was the best choice because what's the next movie like? What was before, like Total Recall, I guess, which is kind of like that. but they don't get into like the nitty gritty. And like what Johnny Mnemonic or something.
Yeah.
It's like around that time, a little later, I guess.
Yeah. And
But
that
yeah.
was,
and there was a lot of computer animation for anime back then, which was not
Yeah.
that common.
if you notice, it started in Pet Labor Part 2, and then a couple years later, he amps it up for Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah. And obviously, it's based off the manga first that came out beforehand.
Right. And then I think if someone was reading Bruce Gibson, that's Money Shroud probably read Gibson. I have to look that up. I don't know if he name drops him in interviews or anything. But you can see the influence there. I mean, it's even like in the opening, before computerization erases national borders, which is kind of already happening now since we can watch entertainment from anywhere.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
at the push of a button, you know what I mean? So
Who are we waiting for? Is it somebody prepare? Somebody hit start?
Whoops.
And speaking of, I don't know, just like characters, she does have, like, Major does have a whole lot of agency in here. It's like her.
I like her
quest to,
scuba diving.
Her quest to come to terms with her own reality was driving like a lot of the plot forward, and she's like, "We're gonna do this, and I have to do this, so I need to go ahead and."
She's like, I gotta jack into this thing. She has to know what it is.
And then she makes the choice to literally change her identity, change who she is.
Yeah.
As a means, like similar to the Puppet Masters, to establish and reinforce her own sense of self by
And he sought out someone who wanted that change as much as he did.
Yeah.
He's like, you want to do this.
So yeah, so if anything, it's like, and like all the peripheral characters are just there for her backup. You know what I mean? She's the one clearly calling the shots.
Yeah. She's got the orange jacket.
Lets him do whatever.
Yeah.
Did you see
I'm
her?
already on it. I was like, all right.
Yeah. The sweet orange jacket.
Yeah. But one of the things I will say about the art style, and the things that I realize still gives me chills, is like that first time that weird, like the Puppet Master's body wakes up and just having an epileptic seizure and looking at itself. It's like that just still gives me the willies.
It's writhing.
Yeah.
No,
It's writhing,
when
spasming,
it wakes up. Oh yeah. Creepy.
Yeah, I haven't. I mean,
Haven't come
also,
to
I don't know
terms
if
with
you
it yet.
notice about the character design is like. I know they talk about like anime eyes as a thing, but most of the characters don't have that. If you noticed, a lot of the characters their eyes are obscured by glasses, especially like say, like for example, Bateau, he's got the low goggles on the whole movie, and then Ishikawa's eyes are more or less regular size, and then
Are those just his eyes?
What?
Are those just his cyborg eyes?
Yeah.
Well, they look like goggles, though. I mean, but that's the
Cyborg
one of the
eyes.
effect is that he's clearly
Cyborg man.
insulated, or like the eyes are kind of expressive, but his are kind of shut off. It just emphasizes his
Yeah.
this is kind of stoic nature.
His character,
yeah. But
it's like giving him the. It's like giving him the. If he had black sunglasses on the whole time.
yeah, pretty much, it's a similar effect.
Yeah.
And but if you notice Major's eyes, they're the typical anime eyes.
Yeah.
And she is always unblinking.
She's super wide-eyed and like she's always staring off very intensely at whatever it is. It's just even when she wakes up in the very beginning.
Yeah, it's always she has a really fixed unblinking stare, and it actually makes her, I guess, even a little bit less human, even though she's mostly human. You know what I mean?
She's crying about being human all the time.
Yeah.
Am I a real girl? Who am I? Zoolander, who am I?
Really emphasizes her unearthly nature, her somewhat unearthly nature.
do when she got an apartment? She has an empty apartment. You see Once in Darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet view of the city.
Yeah, it was. Oh.
Yeah, they're well-paid government employees. If you notice, Bateau's got his safe house out in the hills, and she's got the sweet apartment with a sweet view.
Well, they're property, aren't they? Because he's like, if we ever quit or retire or whatever, they'll take our bodies back. What will they do
Yeah.
then?
They'll be in a jar. They're
Yeah.
like, here you go. You can sit in your apartment.
Yeah. What's the there won't be much of us left then.
Here's your
Take back
button.
all their cybernetic bodies and implants. And,
Like fish head in Futurama.
yeah.
Or the heads in the jar in Futurama. But yeah, I guess any other like favorite moments or favorite parts or anybody?
I like when she's fighting the tank, and I like when they're chasing the invisible guy in the mailbox. Or who's doing
Yeah,
the
the
phone
garbage
call.
people.
The garbage
Yeah,
guy, yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah,
yeah.
they're very competent employees, agents or whatever. Like they're always on it. They're chasing both cars. Like they like you said, they figured out someone was sneaking in at the.
Oh yeah, they're good section whatever they are. What are they? Section 6?
Section.
Like I like watching competent characters.
Yeah.
It's like they don't make dumb mistakes. That's not like plot. It's not like
They're
the twist is like-
they're good at what they do. That's why they're that awesome team.
It's fun to watch, and it makes me forgive their It makes me it keeps me more engaged, so you can
It's all awesome. Like when he shoots the bullet, the tracking bullet on the thing with his revolver. She's like, "Get rid of that old thing."
Yeah, he's like shoot a bunch and then have one of them be a tracking. They won't even notice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's neat, yeah. So it's fun, and you're more willing to go along with these characters' journeys, or if they're questioning things, or
Yeah, if they're like on top of it.
right. Instead of being like, stop being stupid kid, you're like, okay, obviously thought this through.
Yeah, it's frustrating to watch shows where like you wouldn't make that choice. You're like, why are you? Like this movie could be resolved.
Yeah. The whole
We're gonna
conflict
go.
is them making the most obvious right choice.
Yeah,
It's like,
this one's good. It's like they're competent agents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which makes
What?
which makes their conflict more believable, or I can buy into it. And I'm like, okay, you obviously know what you're doing, and you're confronted with a situation, and you're acting accordingly. So,
And they're always one step ahead of like whatever it is they're doing and facing. Yeah, like they're on top of it. Yeah, like Mark was saying, like they're very on top of it. Even the puppet master.
ooh.
No surprise for me, but I like it better than Pat Labor and probably my
Yeah.
favorite Oshii movie. But it's like everyone's favorite. No one's even seen those other ones.
Yeah.
Like, nobody.
This is the one. I mean, it's good.
Well, I think it benefits for the just by its brevity. It's like you got like Pat Labor could have used like a brevity, and this definitely got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how we were saying before, like Pat Labor was like he needed to get that. I'm glad that those mistakes weren't made in this movie. Like, yeah.
If anything, I think they went a little bit in the other direction because they could have spent maybe a little more time actually like explaining things.
Dishing
but I do
things out.
appreciate the fact they didn't hold your hand. It's like, okay, we're doing this. Pay attention.
Yeah. Cool action scenes, info dump, cool action scene, info dump, cool action scene, info dump. It's like, okay.
Yeah. So it was neat in that respect, and I like a movie that respects its audience. And
Yeah, I think I said earlier, it's the shortness I think only adds to its replayability or rewatchability, and it does kind of need a couple watches to even understand what the hell they're talking about, because it
It's
happens
like
so
Lambo.
fast. Yeah, it's like to even soak in like okay, because I definitely get lost in whatever, because like the stuff
We're
they're
talking
saying
about
like makes you,
abstract stuff.
yeah, the stuff they're saying makes you think, so you're like thinking about what they're saying, and then like a scenes later they're like making you think about all this other crazy stuff even more. So I'm just like, hold on, I'm still absorbing the other thing
Yeah,
you just shit, all the
they just
crazy
keep
shit you just
rolling.
told me. Yeah, and it's all, yeah, and it's all very short, and like even the dialogue is very I remember when I first watched it and everything, I was like, ah, it is all these boring parts or whatever and everything like that. But on rewatch, the more I rewatched it, it is still like long and boring kind of, but they're fitting a lot in all of what they're saying. Like, I guess like there's a lot of substance and everything to what they're saying, and it's a short movie, so it's like it just feels longer than it is, I guess. A couple of
Yeah.
my favorite parts are when she's fighting the dude in the alley, of course, with the stealth camo. And what I think inspired the Tekken 3 replay is when she spin kicks the guy in the face to drop him. I think they used the same cameras for the Tekken 3 win replay. And
Cool.
then, of course, the Uzi spray, which inspired me in Grand Theft Auto to do that a shitload in Grand Theft Auto 4 especially. And so you use that Uzi and just spray away uh, in the city streets.
Did you set your stance?
Yeah,
Load in the high, load in.
yeah, loading the heavy round, the heavy rounds or whatever you're saying.
And get pushed back
High
by
velocity
the.
rounds in a pistol. Is
High
what it is.
velocity, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mass
So
Effect style.
those little touches, and, touches that are you really appreciate. It's like, yeah, they're actually like this movie, for all the funky stuff going on, it's actually somewhat grounded in like real world physics. It's like, yeah,
Yeah, they
if you
did
run out of ammunition in a gun, you'll blow it up.
a bunch of like research on guns and ammo and everything like that for the movie to make it as realistic as possible. They said there's another
Yeah, if
like
he's fighting the tank,
behind the
he's
scenes
like, you
stuff.
don't have enough, you're not gonna make a dent in
Yeah,
it.
like the team went
He
out there
shows
and
up
like,
with like his big thing.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah,
what does he call it? He's like, yeah, he came up with this. It's like an experimental handheld thing or something, or
Like
yeah.
on his shoulder. He fucked him up, it was awesome.
Well, he said he
yeah,
did mess up his gun just by shooting up the rounds or whatever. But I mean, that I think that he did on like, it's obviously the puppet master or whatnot controlling him. But I think it's just like it was always supposed to be like a one way thing. He's like, it's gonna kill my gun, but it's worth taking out this tank.
Yeah.
And of course, yeah, my favorite part is where he fight the tank at the end, and Bateau comes in with the with the tank gun, and just like just destroys everything. And it's like, all right, two
Blast it
shots.
away.
And I don't know what her plan was, where she's like, I'm gonna break myself and like try to open the shell or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, couldn't she? I thought she was gonna like rip the eyes out first or something, or do some
well,
like
just
take it out more a little
It didn't
tactically to
work
like
at all.
to like, yeah, or like to, disassemble it a little more to like or demobilize it or something like that.
we'll just
But
point
she's
She
like,
out
just
no, I'll
that
broke
just rip
herself
my,
at
yeah, I break myself at it. I was like, I
What's
don't know what
going
her
on
plan
though?
was there.
Bold strategy.
Yeah,
well,
and
they do mention
go ahead.
they do mention earlier that she can be reckless and she kind of rushes into things, and I think this was the epitome of that because she was so close to her goal that she kind of
Oh yeah, panicked.
against her better judgment, sort of just kind of rushed in, and she had kind of a plan, and she was actually smart about it. She played it smart. She tried to get it to run out of ammo so it couldn't outright destroy her, and then jumped in and attacked a vulnerable part,
Yeah,
or she thought would be a vulnerable
she had
part.
a couple grenades.
And
Yeah, for
unfortunately, it
smoke cover, that was cool.
Yeah.
didn't. Yeah.
What did she
And
do to
what
her
I mentioned,
gun?
what? Oh, she like swapped out the. Looked like she swapped out the recoil spring or something, so she could fire heavier rounds.
Heavier rounds? I thought she did
And
something to make it shoot.
and throw
Uh,
grenades too. I think she adjusted it because it was
yeah,
shooting explosive rounds. I guess.
yeah.
I'd say.
I thought she changed it to shoot. Uh, like maybe faster. That's why I got too hot, so she like had to like drop one of the springs out or something like that.
Yeah, if you swap out the recoil springs, it'll affect your rate of fire, definitely. Like I
Yeah,
said, one of those nice little realism touches they had.
yeah, that's what I thought she like. That's what I thought she was doing because she was like, "Oh, it's getting too hot," and she popped it out, and then I guess just replaced it or something.
Yeah.
Uh, that's another thing that she did, which is cool. If
And
only she
again,
was
you
a
know, it's
little
like,
more well equipped for that tank, she would have taken it out for sure.
At least
right,
she
but
knew
I
to
mean,
look for it. It was all invisible.
yeah. And I'm surprised she didn't yell, shoot the glass in German.
Yeah, yeah. If only.
But yeah, also brain, she knows what she's dealing with, so she's like, okay,
Hey,
switch up
there's
the
a
camouflage.
thing over here,
Cut down
green
the
thing
battery.
over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, coolest part for sure. Uh,
And again, that matrix, that influence on the matrix, they're like, oh, fighting between columns?
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
do
yeah.
that.
Shooting it up in the water and everything, glass.
Yeah, that definitely felt.
Even
The
some of the
matrix
slow
definitely.
mo shots when she's like flipping upside down and stuff in the beginning, or it's just some of the action scenes, just the way the action is in the movie. But
I like
yeah,
the invisibility effects.
Yeah.
yeah,
Kind of
for
reminds me
sure.
of Predator, but animated style.
Yeah. And used intelligently, too. It's like, well, mostly. Other the first one, like the opening scene might have been a little bit of fan service. It's just like, let me just
It's the first thing
drop
that
it.
happens.
Yeah. But then drop in and then, whatchamacallit,
But
show my face, then cover it up in camouflage, just displaying that I have camouflage. But that just may have been for cinematics. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
she was kind of like she was messing with them. She's like, "Oh, out of ammo,"
They look cool.
and then she just
Yeah.
broke his limbs. And he was very spry himself. He flipped away with all those broken legs and stuff.
Yeah, it was weird watching it, then realize, yeah, he was actually jumping around on the one busted leg.
Yeah, and a broken
But,
hand.
again, confident characters. He did the best he could, but then she methodically took him apart.
She's very
How much
rash.
of that was his implanted memory? Maybe he isn't
Yeah.
that cool.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
From the description of him, he really isn't. But the implanted ghost memories are like, well, you can do this now. You have the memory of doing this.
yeah,
So he attempts it and does it. And then adrenaline, and as always, adrenaline's a hell of a drug.
yeah. So, Canon, what's your, I guess, favorite part or anything? And then after that, we can go into the animation style, if y'all want to say anything about that.
Why can I dodge? Favorite parts is like the whole concept of it is like an artificial intelligence that comes to life, and then rather than being just outright malevolent, just is something that actually just wants to experience life. I mean, that's its reason
Cool.
for being. It's like, how am I alive? Or
That's your favorite part of the movie?
what is my personal life? The whole philosophical concept of it that's backed up by oodles of cool.
Oodles. Okay.
It's like, oh, spray guns, talk philosophy. Let's do
Yeah,
both.
yeah. You got you. That's one way to. They suck me in with the guns and style. And I have to say for the philosophy.
Yeah. And I did have a little, oh yeah, you guys go ahead, and that little,
No, your favorite part, and then transition into animation style. If y'all want to say anything
Yeah.
about it. That's your favorite part. That's
yeah,
it. I guess favorite scene maybe.
well, like I said, one of the most memorable is that doll coming to life and being, just spazzing out. But then actually the ending, because it, it's so optimistic. It reinforces the sense of possibilities opening up, and that's like the best of sci-fi is the sense of wonder and possibility at what could happen next.
Yeah, that's a good
And,
ending.
and the idea is like, yeah, something new is come into being. As McCoy said in whatchamacallit, next generation
Motion picture.
the motion picture.
Back
Been a long time
to
since
Star
I've
Trek.
attended a birth, and it felt like this was like the birth of a new world of possibilities opening up. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that in sci-fi where they kind of their established world is already concepts and technology beyond their own, but then they get a new one themselves.
Yeah. And he even says it too at the end, or she even says it like she's like, "Oh, what are the possibilities await me, or whatever, or what kind of crazy possibilities could await me?" And it's like, "Yep, it's a whole new world, baby." And what is it gonna do out there besides all the crappy stuff it does in the sequels?
Are the sequels even canon?
I don't remember. I don't even remember what happens. I know she
Perhaps,
comes back to help them in some way, and that's all I remember.
yeah, they do go a little bit further into like the whole, which they touched on here is like how do you know who you are if your memories are unreliable, and they go into that further. It's like you can't even trust your senses because your ghost is being hacked in real time.
Yeah, that poor garbage man. He's like, "This isn't a picture of your wife." He's like, "You're not gonna get your memories back."
Yeah, you're wiped. You've been MIB'd. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, and the whole if you notice his favorite
Questions
basset
about
hound is back.
gender.
Always that basset hound.
It's like, yeah, who am I? Do my memories make me who I am? Am I the same person with this rewritten life experience?
Yeah. Don't get too much metal in your head, because then people can rewrite your memories.
Yeah, and then, like I said, going back to the, as far as I could tell, that's the problem with the 2017 live action. It was like, let me just focus on my past for this one. Clearly, it's focusing
No,
on.
we're not talking about the new one.
Let me focus on
We're not talking about the new movie.
It's a topic of
it's
discussion.
the new one is. Let me focus on what I can be, or let me choose my own path in life, even if it means I may lose some memories or I can't trust them. Let me move forward regardless because that's who I am. Like I said, very hopeful. They're very optimistic. Even while this technology can be used for terrible things, it also opens up a whole bunch of possibilities. So that's really cool.
Just let Pinocchio off his strings, god damn it, and let it roam free. It'll get into some trouble probably. And yeah, it makes me want to play Cyberpunk.
You are playing Cyberpunk.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes me want to continue playing Cyberpunk.
Working out.
I'm like, oh, some crazy future world with a bunch of like cyber enhancements and blah blah blah, like Blade Runner. And I'm like, oh yeah. And I'm like, this is a lot like Ghost in the Shell. More that I think about it. But yeah, animation style, still is one of the coolest animes out there in terms of just style and substance and the way that they use the technology that they had at the time, because it was like cutting edge, like the graphics and the film quality of it, the movie theatrical aspect of it was, and they designed it to be that way. Like when they're like in the behind the scenes, I think they talked about it. They wanted it to be very movie like theatrical and cinematic. Yeah, to be more like a Hollywood type of movie. I guess.
Yeah.
And
like I said, the hope was from the founders, from the backers, which were part Japanese and part British. Nice. Said for it is that they wanted it to break out, like be cinematic. They wanted it to break out into the mainstream.
Yeah, breakout anime, and it is.
Yeah.
It is exactly. They accomplished it 100%. Probably 120 or 200%.
Yeah.
Is it a genre unto itself?
Yeah.
No, it definitely fits into the cyberpunk area. I would say you could.
Sci-fi, yeah.
It's science fiction, it's cyberpunk, but it is it is definitely one of a kind, even within that genre. You know what I mean? I'm trying to.
Yeah. It feels like a culmination of like all those things, like before it and then at that time. Like, yeah, of course, like it's more than just AI. Like, it's like, what if the robot, yeah, had midlife crisis or something like that, like, or whatever, like all humans do, and the human does, like, what, like,
who am I?
how can we merge? Yeah, like a Zoolander moment, like, how do we merge? And can we merge? And it becomes like the movie AI, like the, what is it, the Spielberg movie AI, where it's like, is some kind of merge between humans and technology, is like some future, like that's the future we're gonna go down. Maybe that she is the beginning of that, or something weird. Uh, like, yeah, it's just fun. Yeah, and then like how you're saying, the ending like leaves all that fun and wonder open in your head, like to think about.
Yeah, great stuff. And for animation style, I totally love the 90s, like that 90s style. I don't know, they haven't really.
Yep.
I don't know, new stuff doesn't seem as cool, although there are exceptions. I think Attack on Titan is probably the closest to that in terms of like stuff I've seen lately.
Maybe, I don't know. They got some pretty thick lines there.
Yeah, some thick lines, but they seem to have a certain
Feels
the
more like a
feel of it.
coloring book.
I didn't say it was the exact same, but it like in terms of like feel and like character design, it feels a little bit closer. I mean,
Yeah, that
as opposed
'90s,
to
that '90s grit, man. That's the best.
yeah, but yeah, I just love the style. I love like the physicality. Like everything seems to be like three-dimensional and exists and has its sort of reality. You know what I mean? It
Stuff like
doesn't feel animated. It feels
Trigun
more
and
real.
Cowboy Bebop,
I don't think
just
it would work as
grounded
well if it
stuff.
was animated like Lars of the Stars or Arcadia of My Youth.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bubblegum Crisis. Yeah, it's very grounded and it's not too fantastical or anything, or not. It's very adult and like not too. Even for an anime, it's not so anime. If that makes any sense. Like the character, like I don't know. It doesn't
Yeah, I know
feel
what
as
you
that.
mean.
It doesn't feel that way. I guess I don't know.
That's the thing. It doesn't feel cartoony,
Yeah.
even though it's just clearly stylized and stylish. It just, but the characters and their actions, they have a certain weight to them. They're not fluffing around. You know, there's hardly a speed line in sight. The big-eyed character,
Yeah, I didn't think about
big-eyed for a reason.
Yeah, they can make a live action version of it.
that.
Yeah.
No.
Well, if they understood the source material, they could, but
Oh.
having failed to accomplish that, there's not much hope.
Easy shots.
Just
Easy
not how it
shots.
looks, though.
What?
Just not how it looks. I mean, it's like it's animated so realistically.
Yeah.
Mark, animation style. What do you think? Did you already say? If you already said it, sorry.
Yeah, I agree with how it's realistic and how it's not like speed lines or any of the crazy other anime stuff. And I like the invisibility effects.
Yeah. All right. I guess any closing thoughts, and then if you want to feel like raiding it.
Well, I had my essay or notes prepared. If you guys want to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, we'll let you go last then.
Okay.
Arcus.
My thoughts will pale in comparison to Jay's, but yeah, it's got cool themes about like identity, place in the world, and new technology, kind of changing what we are. The animation's cool and solid, and kind of is a very influential anime, and it was influential and was influenced.
Yeah. Whoa, what happened? Yeah. I like what you're saying, Mark. You don't have to compare yourself to Jay. But yeah, I feel the same way. It's like, what can be said that hasn't already been said about this monumental film release that goes beyond anime and the manga and all the stuff that came after it, even Matrix and stuff. I think it even holds up a little bit better than that. Yeah, it's just like one of the all-time greats. Like just movies in general, not even like if you want to like consider it an anime or like of course it's an anime or whatever. But it is very much just like a movie. Like if you want to put it on, if there was like a list of like 100 greatest movies of all time, it's probably on there somewhere. If you're gonna have one anime movie on there. But yeah, just everything that goes through with the themes and the characters, how everything looks, it just like everything about it's so solid. The music, the just the vibes it gives you, even when the other parts from his past movies where it just kind of like stares off and goes off into stuff. It works the most in this movie. Oh yeah, another funny part is when she sees herself in the when she's riding around on the boat, like going late
Yeah,
to the
is that
party.
just another person with her same
I
body
think she just
model?
has the same shell. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then later on, like with she's like looking in the window at the red dress of the person who's wearing her other shell, and she's like, "Could I be that other shell?" or something. Like at least that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. I was like, man, I don't know if I've noticed that before, but that was like, it made me like laugh out loud, like literally. I was like, oh man, it's like just too funny because she's like having this just crazy off in this there, looking off moment, and then she herself is just like, I mean, it could be like a thing, like her mind is just, her picturing herself in there doing that. Like she could be some other thing, like not her current life or something. But
And if you
yeah,
notice,
I thought it was just her
the
another copy of her shell. What?
if you notice the Megatech body the Puppet Master takes is pretty much her body but blonde.
Yeah, when they're looking at each other on
The
the ground,
the facial structure is
yeah, it
extremely
looks the
similar.
same.
Well, that's good.
Uh,
If everyone keeps getting robot bodies, they're gonna lose variety. There's gonna be like 10 templates everyone's gonna have.
Yeah.
yeah,
That won't be any fun.
and it's like you don't even have you don't have one of the top 10 robot bodies. Why am I even talking to you?
And that may be part of the reason she goes
Robot
along with the
body.
Puppet Master's plan, if you think about it, is because she wants that degree of uniqueness you can get.
Mostly
Not,
different.
yeah,
Yeah.
by not being just the some of her parts, but an integration of personalities, I could say.
But yeah,
Which is like,
oh, sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, to wrap up my final thoughts or whatever and review. Oh yeah, did you want to give a rating, Mark, or no? Or did you?
9 out of
Sorry.
10.
9 out
This
of
is
10?
great. I kind of like how it's so short.
Yeah. I forgot what I was saying. But yeah, her herself looking at the boat, and then, yeah. Yeah. I might want to say 10 out of 10, but conservative 9 out of 10. Uh, one of the all-time greats in animation and like storytelling and just like making you think, movies that make you think, top 10 movies that make you think about life or whatever. And yeah, highly recommend. Just watch it. Even beyond anime lists of movies to watch, like, oh, here, watch these. If you're in anime, watch these movies. I'd be like, good. If you're in movies, watch this anime. But yeah, that's it. Javier?
Okay, well, I'm gonna go into this by thinking about
Do it.
it's like an overview of what we've seen so far from Mamoru Oshii, which is like summing it up. I want to say that it's like the philosophy of reality and identity. And it's like a running theme through those works. If you want to put it briefly, um, the films are like a philosophical progression where he answers different questions about the nature of either oneself or the external reality. So running down a list, we have Beautiful Dreamer, where am I? Angel's Egg, why am I doing this? Pat Labor 2, what is going on? Ghost in the Shell, who am I? Each one of these movies like asks a question. For example, in Beautiful Dreamer, we have all these well-developed characters, right? Their identities are never in question. Only the situation and location is. It's like, where are they? Are they dreaming, or are we in the back of a turtle? What happened to the rest of the town? So it's always, where am I? Right? But if you go on the Angel's Egg, it's kind of more of a your characters are, again, like, they're sort of well drawn. They're determined, at least, even if their motivations and stories aren't explained. They do have this sort of goal that they go to. And so the audience is less asking the question, why are they doing this? Is it just because they have to, or because they want to? It's kind of unknown. Their motivation is unknown, even though their actions and identities are fairly clear. If you go on to Patlabor, it starts to reach out into I guess, the question of where oneself fits into society. Um, again, all our characters are more or less well developed. They're all professionals, right? In Pat Labor, and this carries through into Ghost in the Shell. It's like, and it's fun to watch them because they all know what they're doing, more or less, right?
Yeah.
They're not incompetent or idiots, but the plot proceeds because one of the antagonists wants to cause political change. So, and this introduces
Troublemaker.
questions of loyalty and position to everyone else on the Pat Labor team, because suddenly the ground they thought was solid is maybe not anymore, and it's not in a physical sense so much as in the way they relate to society. It's like,
Yeah.
and they thought they were this one thing, and then they may have a fraudulent piece, so they don't
It's a solid
maybe
crew.
understand. Yeah.
They lost their lead
Um,
singer. It'll
But
never
then
be the
Ghost in the
same.
Shell,
Van Halen will never be the same.
Van Halen, not Van Hagar.
Yeah.
Um,
That's Ghost in the Shell too, for sure.
but yeah, so Pat Labor like takes these questions, like takes the question of Beautiful Dreamer, where am I, and kind of abstracts it as where do I fit in, or how do we fit into the situation at large? And then Ghost in the Shell is the most introspective of the group, and it like takes it to its logical conclusion. If I know who I am, or if I know what I'm doing or where I'm going and what my situation is, then I know who I am. Especially if I can't trust reality, because and so the protagonist character has to come to grips with their their own internal psyche, their own question, their own makeup.
She wants more, which I think might be part of like in general, like in their characters themselves, as being signed up to be the challenge to be enhanced soldiers or enhanced cops in general, like in the first place. Like they're already willing to like expand that part of reality or their physicality or the reality themselves to take that risk to have an implant to be able to like get hacked or whatever, it's worth it. So like they already have that like expansion like type of mindset, I think. And
It's a
so
possibility, but
I think hers is just like she found the ultimate like crazy way out of expanding her whatever she felt stuck, I guess. Sorry, go ahead.
but I mean the movie makes clear that in its the past kind of doesn't matter. What matters is what you do with the choices you have in front of you, and then how you proceed forward. And that's when like the possibilities open up for the character when coming to grips with that question and deciding to proceed forward. Anyway, and so the progression is conception of reality from the concrete to the increasingly abstract. It's like, where am I? What's going on? Why is this happening? And who am I? It's kind of going from the outside world to the internal world, and that's like the progression. And like in every step of the way, moving from the concrete to the abstract to personal, that reality is untrustworthy. It's either you're in a dream, or the fishermen hunt shadows, or
Are you getting hacked?
the the political situation is unstable and liable to change at a moment's notice, or you might just have your brain hacked.
Yeah.
In any case, the characters have to, based on the information they have, kind of make a determination and move forward anyway. And I think that's a real cool thought. It sort of gets to be very a little bit Descartes is like, I think therefore I am, or
Yeah.
I am this therefore I do that. And
I think it's also a lot easier for her, specifically to take that way out with him. That merging is because that she was already questioning. Like that's why she's going scuba diving or whatever. She's like, yeah, she's already questioning herself. Does her ghost even matter? Or like, has she already gone too far over to the other side, to where she herself already merged or became a different ghost, like in her shell or whatever.
she lied.
But
She did.
yeah,
So that's neat. I just thought it was an interesting philosophical progression that in each case depends on the actions of the characters, and I think that's one of the most forward-looking
she had her doubts. She's like, all right,
ways
let's go.
of approaching the problem.
Let's go.
It's like, because I mean, it's possible to give in to angst or doubt or be unwilling to accept the situation, but by kind of, I guess, it's weird. It's a very almost like an individualistic message, which is not something you normally expect from Japanese culture, because it tends to be group oriented. But in each of these cases, the characters have to sort of make their own way
Coming to my character.
on their own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's some good talk.
Yeah. So when I met Ghost in the Shell, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 too. It's like it's hard to. My main quibbles with flaws with it are always in the media, and we can talk about that too, because there's a funny little story with the various versions of Ghost in the Shell.
What, like director's cuts and stuff?
2.0.
No, not even that, but just just getting it to, just being able to watch it and experience it properly. Like I said, I experienced it back in the theater, and if I'm not mistaken, that was the dub. Probably
Yeah.
if they're trying to make it more popular than that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Probably, yeah.
24. But so the thing is, for whatever reason, they oof. The DVD is apparently the best version to get if you want to appreciate the subtitles, because for the Blu-ray re-release, they adjusted the subtitles once. They didn't look proper to me. So I need to go back and track down the DVD, because the DVD apparently had the better subtitles, although the Blu-ray probably has better image quality. The original Japanese 2.0 soundtrack, the DVD has the proper subtitles, while the dub is kind of the same in both, which is fine.
What's wrong with the subtitles?
The grammar gets a little wonky. At least on my Blu-ray edition, the grammar got a little wonky, and sentence construction was a little awkward, and it was not
It's an odd thing to change.
Yeah, that is a
really
weird thing to
strange.
change.
And then it gets worse if you get the new one, the newest version of it, the 4K re-release. It's about as good as it's gonna look. However, the subtitles are still the Blu-ray subtitles, and for some goddamn reason, they changed the ending song, which doesn't make any sense. Because if you recall, they had that haunting chanting theme going on.
What, Bono or something?
Brian Eno, yeah. Who, well, he did good work on the Metropolis soundtrack. He didn't need to be in redoing the Ghost in the Shell soundtrack.
Yeah, years later.
Bring us back.
You're like, this movie's long over. You don't need to be changing any end credits or anything like that.
Yeah, so it was very
That's stupid.
yeah, it's very odd. So apparently the DVD is the best version to have if you want the subtitles.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna get the DVD version then.
Yeah, I'm gonna track it down. I have the 25th anniversary Blu-ray edition. I'll try to track down the DVD version.
I watched the Prime version. I have no idea which version that is.
Were you watching it subbed or dubbed?
Subbed, but I can change the subtitles. I made them as small as possible. Or I was watching dubbed, sorry, but I had subtitles on anyway, just because it's like weird. Sometimes I do that. I have the subtitles on just to, if I want to absorb the movie a little better, especially with so much dialogue and I have to like think about what they're saying.
Yeah, you want to make sure you can follow all the stuff you're talking about.
The intricacies.
Yeah.
Alright, well, if anybody's got anything else to say, I guess that's gonna do it.
Nope. It was a good movie. Go check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, do yourself a favor, watch it if you haven't yet.
Find the DVD version.
Yeah, find the DVD version. Or if you don't mind the dubbing, just do the dub version.
Do the dub.
Yeah.
Do the dub. Yeah, 9 out of 10. I think all around from all three of us. So yeah, go watch
So,
Ghost in the Shell.
Thank Mamoru-san for his philosophical journey through it with us.
Yeah. Whoa. For continuing on from all those philosophical
Oh,
journeys that we've been going through in his other movies to I think his best work. I think in a lot of in all around just everything. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this week's anime movie review of Ghost in the Shell by Mamoru Oshii, 1995. Track down the DVD version. Till next time.
Sayonara.